Good evening. Hello. How are we doing? Hope you've had been hot this week, isn't it? Hope you've had a lovely week, and hope you're ready to drink some nice cold vino, because it has been hot up here. Very hot.
Very, very warm. You weren't happy with the cold.
I wasn't happy with the temperature. I've got ice blocks. Yeah. I've got. I'm
sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah, I've been thoroughly let down with the temperature.
Get it chilled.
So, welcome to Smash Grapes Try Before You Buy. This is our June tasting. We are halfway through the year. This is our June tasting. We do have quite a lot of first timers this evening. Hello to all the first timers. You will notice that just before we started, and on the screen behind us there, we use a system called Slido, which is where you can submit questions. We do a couple of polls. You can also use the YouTube chat, but Slido is the best way to get involved. To get involved, you just whip your phone out, go to slido.com, and you put in the event code SG Wine Tasting. Or if you're feeling particularly tech savvy, you can scan that QR code that is on screen as well. So you can scan that, or go to slido.com and put in event code SG Wine Tasting. Shez is out there, so looking forward to tonight. Friday wine tasting from Anonymous. The way tonight works is we are going to go through all 6 wines that are in the kit. As we do, the wonderful wine expert that I'm joined with this evening, a lovely little glowing intro there. Sam is going to take you through kind of what all the wines are about. Now, this is not your normal wine tasting, so there's going to be no snobbering and no bullshit. It is just real matter of fact, straight down the line.
We're here to drink.
We are here to drink.
It's Friday.
With that in mind, get wine number 1, the yellow label, wine 1. Get that poured out in your glass and start sipping away whilst we do some pleasantries.
Evening, Tracy and Kev.
Tracy and Kevin, again. Good evening. So yeah, get yourself onto Slido so you can get involved. This thing works so much better when there are questions, and I've got absolutely no worries about interrupting him mid-flow to pose your questions, and it can be about anything.
Please ask lots.
What generally happens on these things, right, is first wine, maybe 2 wines, very little interaction, very quiet. Once we get 3 or 4 wines in us, then the questions start flowing and we have a great time. There's no judgment here. Just get the questions
whatever
in.
you want.
Ask them
whatever
out.
You want.
Right. Anonymous Tanuki already had a bit of Prosecco and he's buzzed. Happy to be here.
We had a couple of beers, didn't we?
Where did that month go? Said Helen and Steve. Yes. Yeah. Mark, very excited to do this.
Hello, Mark.
Yes. Right.
Ruby, lovely. Pouches.
Pouches.
Out of
yes.
fridge. We haven't mentioned that.
We haven't. So, obviously, we have, obviously, if it's your first time, maybe you didn't know this. Wines 1, 2, 3 with the yellow label, they are our whites, and there might be something else in there as well. You want those to have been cold, so go and grab those now. And wines 4, 5, and 6 with the green labels are your red wines. So, we do want you, if you haven't already, to take those out of the fridge to bring them up to temperature.
Apart from. So this, it's June. The weather's been lovely.
It has.
So the wines that I've picked for tonight, guys, are all my summer favourites, if you like. They are wines that are great for the garden, that are great for the barbecue, that are just great for alfresco dining. These are 6 wines that are perfect for this time of year. So therefore, I want us to try something a little bit different. So if you have been with us before, you'll have not heard us say this. And if you're a newcomer, well, it doesn't really matter. But red wine number 1, so that's
wine 4.
Sorry, yeah. So wine 4, which will have a green label because it is red. I want you to leave it in the fridge.
Leave it in the fridge.
Leave it in the fridge.
You heard it here first, folks. Red wine.
A little experiment. I don't even know how this is going to taste. I love this wine, and I've drank it room temperature many a time. But I've been told by a few friends that this particular grape from this particular country is quite nice on the chilly side during the summer months. So let's give it a go and see what we think. We're all going to learn something. And if you're not feeling brave enough to try that, it's not a necessity, just have it room temperature. It's up to you. But yeah, we're gonna try that with a bit of a chill on it. The bottle you can see here has actually just come out of the fridge, so it will take a while for that to come up to room temperature. So by the time we drink it, it will be chilled. Truffle Runner, Gouda cheeses are worth the entry price alone. Very good. They are so good.
Debbie and Alan loving the snacking cheese, and There we go. Anonymous is putting 4 back into the fridge. Well done.
Good.
Love you.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see how we go. Right, so put your yellow label wine one into your glass. Have a little swig, see what you think. Like I said, we do use Slido to do a few bits and pieces of polling. Now, we're not expecting you to, give us anything like Essence of Decaying Forest Floor or, the gentle hum of rose petals.
Bike in a tube.
Bike in a tube, yeah, we've had that. We had a gently aged Helen Mirren before. We just ask you what kind of things you're tasting. So yeah, just go,
no right or wrong.
This starts pretty tame, as everything, and then tends to get a little bit wild.
It's more poetic.
Get yourself onto Slido, one by one, tell us what you taste. There you go, Apple, straight on the board there.
Lovely.
If you want to take part, whip your phone out, slido.com, event code SG Wine Tasting. So yeah, get involved. Grapefruit, apple coming in there. And as more votes come in for certain things, the words will get bigger. You will kind of see them behind us as well. But it's about time we kick proceedings off then, I guess.
Go on then.
Before we get too far, crispy apple. Crispy apple.
Crispy apple,
Peach
I
and
like
vanilla.
that. I think I know exactly what you mean by
Do
crispy
you mean
apple.
crispy apple as in like the ones that are like, I've got a real bite to them?
Yeah, I mean, I would call it like crunchy apple. You know, one
Crunchy.
that really has got a crunch to it. That's actually one of my favourite tasting notes for this type of wine. It
Crunchy.
tastes like a crunchy apple. Yeah, it's got that bite to it. I like that.
Good.
I like that a
Lemon.
lot. Watermelon, pear, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Peach, lovely. Nice to see it
Well, let's-
flowing in.
Let's go to
Okay.
the spot, shall we?
Oh yeah,
Later.
sorry,
Yeah.
on the marker. There we are.
Right.
So wine number one. First of all, we're talking about wines to enjoy during the summer months. We've had the weather. Who knows how long it's going to last? We're going to start off with an absolute killer patio wine. What do we mean by patio wine? If you've been with us before, you might have heard us. It's one of our favourite terms for describing a certain type of wine. If you're new, then here's what it is: patio wines, wines that are just fit for smashing back in large quantities in the summer sun. You know, they don't need food, they're not complicated, they are just real swiggers.
We've had one come in, a gentle summer breeze with
Woo!
hints of citrus, honey, and glue. Christ.
And glue?
And glue, yeah. So we've got glue.
Fair enough. What makes a great patio wine then? Well, it needs to be refreshing. What makes a wine refreshing? Well, the refreshing factor of a wine all comes from its acidity. Acidity, you know, on the face of it, might not sound like something that's particularly tasty. You know, when people talk about acidity, they might talk about like battery acid tasting wines. But acidity, when done well, is a really important ingredient for making wine taste refreshing. For making anything taste refreshing, actually. If you think of like cloudy lemonade, it's quite a sugary thing, but it's the acidity of the lemons that makes it refreshing. Gin and tonic, you know, it's the acidity, that squeeze of lime in the gin that makes it refreshing. Acidity is super important. What do we need for acidity? We need cool climates. So for this first wine, we're in Chile, but we're in the Casablanca Valley, which is one of the cooler areas of Chile. You know, you think about Chile, it's quite a long country, but it is pretty close to the equator, so generally quite hot. But it has some benefits, which means it can create cooler wines to grow in cooler climates. It's what the Humboldt Current. Remember Humboldt penguins?
I'm very aware of
Humboldt penguins. They come up from the Antarctic. Well, the Humboldt Current is a current of an ocean current that comes up from Antarctica, cools down the area, and also they have mountains. They've got altitude, and as a result, they can do in Chile some really great cool climate wines, which means refreshing and high in acidity. And for this one, the great variety is Chardonnay. Dun dun dun, not Chardonnay. Everybody sits back and says, I am a big fan of Chardonnay here. The thing about Chardonnay is we tend to associate it with big, blousy, heavily oaked wines, you know, some of those big chunky whites from, say, Australia and that sort of thing. But actually Chardonnay can be all things. It depends really where it's growing. If it grows in a cooler climate, it can be one thing. If it grows in a warmer climate, it can be another. And the way we use oak with it also affects it. No oak here. This is the cleanest, purest example of Chardonnay. It's grown in a cool climate, so it's really like citrusy and light and refreshing and a great patio wine. No oak to make it big and taste like you know, had a mouthful of sawdust down wicks. Just clean and simple.
And
really
it's only a 12.5 as well.
12.5.
Yeah, which, you know, I mean, I'm someone who does often, if I'm choosing a wine on a shelf, I will go for something slightly higher just because I know that's the kind of thing I like. And I know there's a lot of you out there that will buy your wines based on alcohol percentage. But this is very light, really, for what it is. So yeah, it makes it perfect for being sat in the sunshine.
Absolutely. Chardonnay generally is associated with bigger white wines, bigger, fuller-bodied white wines, and absolutely, because it's so diverse as a grape Chardonnay, it can basically grow in any climate. It's hardy, it can cope with the heat, and the heat is what turns it into a bigger white wine, bigger and riper and fuller-bodied. But it does equally as well in cool climates. And actually, some of the the most famous and prestigious examples of Chardonnay, for example, Chablis. Chablis, if you enjoy a bit of Chablis, if you're doing all right, if you enjoy a bit of Chablis, Chablis is basically one of the coldest places in the world, certainly in France, that you can grow grapes. I mean, in Chablis, they have frosts in the winter. They have to light fires in the vineyard to keep the grapes warm because it is so cold. And so, yeah, Chardonnay isn't just about, sort of the Australian desert and big, full-bodied fruity whites. It does really well in cool climates, and I think this is a fantastic example. And it's a great alternative to things like Chablis without busting the wallet.
Yeah, no. Some of those Chablis are serious money.
Serious money, yeah.
You're doing very well for yourself if you're just knocking back a bottle of Chablis in midweek.
Yeah,
for sure. So yeah, one of the things, get wine number 1 finished off. We're going to move on to 2 and 3 shortly, but just launched another poll. Someone's gone straight in with Chardonnay. What's their favourite type or grape of white wine? Sancerre always makes an appearance. We tend to get people who are doing quite well for themselves. Sancerre is another one, which is
Sauvignon.
Which is obviously the area to grow, not the grape. So Sancerre is a French Sauvignon Blanc.
Absolutely.
Chenin Blanc, yes, or Certico.
Bit of Greek wine.
Yeah, Vermentino, Viognier.
Lovely.
Chablis. We've got a Chablis fan in there.
Chablis fan. Hopefully Chablis fans are enjoying this. It's definitely a good alternative to Chablis. But hopefully people that think they are non-Chardonnay fans are enjoying this as well. At the moment, it's very much the trend, it's very much sort of in the UK palate at the moment that we like high acid white wines. Sauvignon Blanc, high acid and refreshing and light, not too big and chunky. Pinot Grigio, high acid, refreshing and light, not too big and chunky. So that's very much what we enjoy at the moment. It's the same reason we flipping love gin and tonics in this country. We like that high acid, refreshing flavour. Chardonnay can be that as well. Absolutely.
Alistair in the YouTube chat spotted there. Isn't Chile known more for its reds than its whites?
Yeah, I would guess you're right, Alistair. It's probably more famous for red. I mean, Chilean Merlot is massive in this country, absolutely massive. Chile, as a warmer country, is going to do better with reds than it is with whites, for sure. So Chilean Merlot, fantastic. Chilean Cabernet, Cabernet Sauvignon, fantastic. Chilean Pinot Noir, but Pinot Noir tends to prefer a cooler area, so it would probably be in the same sort of place like Casablanca Valley as this Chardonnay, fantastic. Carmenere, a big favourite of ours from Chile, which got mistaken for Merlot for a very long time, and then they worked out that it was actually Carmenere. So yeah, probably you're right, Alistair, more famous for red wines, certainly on the UK shelves, but don't disregard Chilean whites. Chilean Sauvignon, fantastic alternative to New Zealand Sauvignon, which people are going to need to look at soon, aren't they?
They are.
Chilean Riesling, completely different to that German stuff, cheap stuff that we sort of associate Riesling with. Fantastic white wines, Chilean Riesling. Anything like that. Chile is just great all-rounder, really.
A couple more grape loves have come in. Grüne Veltliner. Ooh, we like. Give me a red.
Okay.
Someone has said.
We will do, surely.
We will. Don't worry. Quite a few. So obviously, Sauvignon as we expect, Vermentino, Viognier. Cool. All right. So look, keep the questions coming in. We're going to go on to wine number 2 now. So you don't need to change your glass. Just make sure you've not got any of number 1 left in it. We're going to get wine 2 poured out. I'm grabbing a nice cold pouch for mine. Do you want a cold pouch?
Oh yeah, I'll have one of your cold pouches. Yeah. Don't want this room temperature.
No, Oh, hang on. I only have 1 pouch of 2, so we can split. You can split it.
I overdid it on 1. I've had about 3 glasses, so we'll have to take a break on.
Eat steady on. Yeah, it is possible. It is possible to share these pouches.
Yeah, there's a
between
whole
2
bottle
people.
of wine in the kit, guys.
Yeah.
If you do all 6 wines to yourself, you have had a whole bottle. So there's nothing wrong with sharing it.
No. Tanuki has asked if they can have a pouch. You should have 6 in front of you. Well, 5. You should have 5 left. So yes, I hope you do. Right. So number 2. So yellow label wine 2. Get it poured. I nearly swirled it then. Let's see what you're tasting. This is an interesting one. I've had this before, and I think there's going to be some. I'm excited for what people are tasting in this one.
Yeah. I haven't tried this in ages.
You drank a load of it today, did you not?
No.
It's got a whiff, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there you go. Get that down your neck and jump onto Slido and tell us what you are tasting, please. What kind of things you're tasting there? Spin that round. There's a lot going on in this one. Peach,
nice.
Yeah. So what can you tell us about number 2 without giving it away just yet?
Okay, well let's start off. We're in South Africa for this wine. We don't have a huge amount of South African wine, do we, on the store?
No, not particularly. We go through phases sometimes.
Yeah, it comes and goes. South Africa, fantastic country for wine. It's one of those countries I've not been, but if anybody's ever been, they don't shut up about it. They love to tell you about that. They went to South Africa and the wine was amazing. And I believe them, but it's just one of those places, I think if you go there, that's it. You're South Africa for life. Who is it? There's somebody who's a regular, isn't there, that's always on about South African wines.
It might be the person that said that Chenin was their favourite grape.
Yeah, it's probably that person. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you do tend to become quite militant about it. I think
it must be the place.
Yeah, it must be the place. I mean, I think you go through a bit of a phase when you go and visit these places of like, go to Italy, you try a load of Italian stuff, you're like, you just focus on Italian wine. Then you go, South Africa, and you're like, I tried this and that, and I love it. And then next minute, you're back when we could travel, when the world was simple.
So yeah, we're in South Africa, Western Cape. Stellenbosch is the main area for wine in that part of the world, in that part of South Africa. A little bit of history. So Stellenbosch, named after Simon van der Stel, who was the governor, Dutch governor, who turned up there in sort of 1670s and colonised the area. Stellenbosch means Stellen's wood, so it's named after Simon van der Stel. They turned up there, and what they thought, we're going to settle here. This looks lovely. We'll have a bit of this. But they did not like the harsh Atlantic winds that were blowing in. We're talking proper, stormy, horrible winds there. There's a couple of vineyards down there where literally everything grows sideways because the winds are so harsh. So they planted loads of oak trees to block out the winds, and that's why it's called Stellenbosch, Stellen's wood. Funnily enough, now in the world of organic agriculture, biodiversity, and that sort of stuff, they realise that those oak trees are basically sapping the life out of the local soil, and most of them are actually getting cut down and being replaced with indigenous South African plant varieties to sort of rejuvenate the soil, bring back native insects and stuff, but that's a whole other story for a different day. But yeah, Stellenbosch is the area that we're in. Those Atlantic winds are actually pretty useful. Wind is a really handy thing to have on your side when you're growing grapes, because the biggest enemy of grapes is generally mold and mildew, dampness. Dampness is a problem, and if you've got a serious bit of wind that's gusting through all the time, keeps them nice and dry, you don't have the problem with mold and mildew, and as a result, you don't need to use pesticides, because actually most pesticides aren't to get rid of insects, they're to get rid of mold and mildew. So you can do organic
What is mildew?
Mildew? I don't know.
Yeah, because we always say mold and mildew. What is mildew?
It's mold's brother.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, little true. Right. We've had quite a lot of tasting notes come in here before you start telling us what's going down. So we've got a lot of peach, a lot of apricot. We've got a few almost sparklings. We have some almond in there. Almond.
Like it.
I thought you'd like that. We also have one that it doesn't show the commas in the cloud. So I thought they'd written gooseberry mascarpone, and I was like, where can you buy gooseberry mascarpone? But there was a comma into it, so they've obviously tried to do two things: gooseberry and mascarpone. So they're obviously getting some kind of dairy features as well as that gooseberry fruit in there.
Excellent. So this is a blend, and blending in South Africa is actually super common, but blending worldwide actually is pretty common. So single varietal wine buying is actually fairly new age. It's fairly a new trend. So saying I want just a Sauvignon Blanc or I want just Chardonnay is actually relatively new. If you look at the most popular and famous wine regions of the world, they tend to make their wines from blends. So Bordeaux is a blend of Merlot and Cabernet Franc and other things. Rioja is a blend of Tempranillo and Garnacha. Côte de Rhône is a blend of Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. Blending is super common, and that's because we're reliant on the weather here, and some grapes do well in certain types of weather, and so other grapes are not going to do as well. So you need an insurance policy. If your Syrah's not done that well, maybe your Grenache has done better, and you've got something that you can harvest and make wine from. So that's why blending is pretty common, and there's nothing wrong with it. Please don't turn your nose up at blending. It's fantastic. It's a great way to make a white wine. This is mostly Chenin Blanc. I think it's like 70 or 80% Chenin Blanc.
Tell you now.
Oh, tell me now. Tell me now.
Tell you now.
There we go. 76% Chenin Blanc, 12% Roussanne. If you don't know what Roussanne is, why would you? It very much is only ever used in blending. Roussanne and Marsanne are two white grapes that are pretty much in all white Côte de Rhône. They also pop up in red Côte de Rhône occasionally, but in white Côte de Rhône, Roussanne and Marsanne often seen next door to Viognier. So Viognier, Roussanne and Marsanne are often grown together in the Côte de Rhône, also very popular in South Africa. And others is probably those things. It's probably Viognier and it's probably Marsanne, but the reason they say others is probably because they're not quite sure. They just have them sort of growing wildly in the vineyard.
Yeah, this one here says Grenache Blanc Viognier on the bottle, so it's a bit of that going on as well.
On there. So yeah, mostly Chenin Blanc. Chenin Blanc, very much the inherited white grape of South Africa. So Chenin Blanc is a French grape variety. It hails from northern France, from the Loire Valley. If you've ever drunk Vouvray, Vouvray is a region which makes very famous Chenin Blanc. Chenin Blanc, it's not got the popularity it deserves, really. I think.
I love a Chenin. If I'm gonna have, I mean, when I was in South Africa,
there we go.
Yeah, no, I do enjoy a Chenin, and the wife's a fan of a Chenin Blanc as well. I think it's just very easy drinking, isn't it?
It's got a lot of Sauvignon Blanc properties to it. You know, very similar in style to Sauvignon, a little bit richer. This guy has had a bit of oak time, so if you've been with us before, you'll heard me talk about oak and about the effects of oak. Basically, the flavour in a wine is pretty much always down to the weather. You hear me talk about that a lot. If it's not down to the weather, then it's down to the aging, and that can come in two forms, with yeast or with oak, and oak aging is what's happened here. Very small percentage of this wine actually went into an oak barrel, so they didn't put all of the juice in, they just put some of the juice in an oak barrel. And that oak barrel was actually old oak, and that's something we haven't talked about, I don't think, on a Try Before You Buy tasting.
No, not something else.
New oak and old oak, that is a thing. So if you want to really get loads of oak flavour into your wine, you know, the sort of vanilla, coconut, baking spice, cinnamony type flavours, then you'll use a brand new barrel, never been used before. Fresh wood, obviously more expensive, but it's going to put more flavour into the wine. If you want it to be a bit more subtle than that, then you will use old oak, essentially the same barrels that you used last year and the year before and the year before. Now, an expert will tell me I'm wrong, but generally 3 to 5 years is about as much as you'll get out of a barrel before it's not really doing anything. So the barrels, I assume, are probably about 3 to 5 years old. But yeah, second-hand barrels, essentially. They used the year before. Cheaper, because it's second-hand, but just subtler with the flavour. So we had, what did we have? We had almond, we had
vanilla,
mascarpone, we had vanilla. All of that has come from the oak aging, not from the grape, not from the weather, certainly not from the soil. That's a bit of a sort of a myth that the flavours come from the soil. That's come from the oak aging, but very, very subtle.
Well, Truffle Runner says that you've made that Chenin fan very happy. Woohoo! There you go. There you go.
Truffle Runner.
Truffle Runner.
The reason I picked this wine, I said that the theme tonight was summer, barbecue, al fresco, that sort of thing. You know, if you do want to drink white wine for the whole day at a nice barbecue, even if the sausages are coming out and the you know, red meats or the spicy chicken, if you do want to drink a white wine, but you want a little bit more guts to it, but you don't want to drink some massive, over-the-top, powerful, you know, white Rioja with tons of oak or Australian Chardonnay, South African Chenin, fantastic for that. It still sits in that sort of patio wine, refreshing sort of category, but it's got a little bit more to it, and we can see that by the amount of different things people put in.
Yeah, exactly. All the different things people will taste. Like, that's it. When we put these things up to ask you what you're tasting, we're not expecting everyone to be like, oh, this is definitely blackberry, or this is definitely blueberry or pear or whatever. It's just to show you like how everyone's tastes are just different. And you know, we are not the kind of wine retailer that will tell you you're going to get essence of this or you know, that kind of flavour. We'll just kind of guide you in where it sits on that spectrum. So this has got a lot going on, hence a very busy tasting word cloud.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah,
I mean, red is fantastic.
Yes, yes. We also do have a red in this.
It's mostly Pinotage.
Yes, again. So our South Africa wine fans out there, it is predominantly Pinotage, the Bonfire Red. It is fantastic.
Pinotage, if you don't know, guys, is a red grape variety that some university students in South Africa literally made in a lab. Cinsault, they bred Cinsault with Cabernet Franc, I think. David O'Sullivan's going to correct me on that.
Yeah.
He's listening.
He's in line.
They bred Cinsault with Cabernet Franc in a lab, made their own grape called Pinotage. You only find it in South Africa. It is the grape that tastes like chocolate. It is fantastic. So yeah, check out the Bonfire Hill Red if you like a chocolatey wine. It's liquid chocolate.
There you go.
It's lovely.
You heard it here first, guys. There you go. So, finish off wine 2. We are sticking with the yellow labels again, and we are now moving on to wine number 3. Let me grab a couple of cold pouches. Oh, there we go. So yes, wine 3, the yellow pouch, wine 3, the yellow label, sorry. Get those in, get it poured, and we will throw the cloud up again to see what you're tasting.
Lovely and cold.
Fantastic and cold. And as you are pouring this in the glass, you may... Hang on a minute. What's going on here? You may notice... I'm going to use a word here. It's very blushy, isn't it?
Oh, blushy.
Oh, very blushy. Very blushy. Pink has already come up. Yes, we are drinking a bit of pink because the wines this evening, as Sam said, are all about that kind of patio wine. So the sun is out, you might be lighting a barbecue, you've got friends round, they pair perfectly with the British summer that we tend to get 1 or 2 little beautiful days of. So I'm going to launch the poll again. What are you tasting here? Let's have a look. Let me click the right button. There we go. Right, so yes, what kind of things are we tasting in this one? And yes, it is a bit of the pink stuff. So there might be some rosé haters out there, but stick with it. Just go with it. You know, you've probably been drinking the wrong rosés. You know, this is not. Before we tell you what it is, it's definitely not a white Zinfandel.
No.
We'll call that one out. Blush. Talk to me about blush.
Blush, yeah. So it's a funny old word, isn't it? Blush. Everyone's got a different idea of what it might mean. I think we all probably agree that blush is like the paler end of rosé, but what does that mean for what's in the glass, for what you taste, for how much you're going to pay? Well, basically there are 3 ways of making rosé. I've said that without really knowing what the 3 are. There are 3 ways of making rosé. The first is by
Skin contact.
Yep, there is 3, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm already losing. There are 3 ways of making rosé. So first is skin contact. So basically all grape juice, it doesn't matter whether the grape is purple, red, black, green, whatever, all grape juice is clear, but it's the skin contact which, the skins of the grape that imparts the colour. So this like a rosé that's pale might have had, let's say, 15 hours with the skins. A rosé that's a little bit darker might have had like a couple of days with the skins. It's about how long the winemaker chooses to leave the skins in with the wine. I've forgotten the ways of making rosé.
Isn't something whole grape maceration or something like that? Is one of
Yes,
them?
the other one is where they ferment the grapes in with the skins, and so again it's down to that time that it's been left in. So the maceration of the skins whilst it's fermenting, and then the third one is where they literally, and this is genuine, where they literally just plop a little bit of red wine in with the white wine. You're thinking, oh, that must be the cheap stuff. That must be the cheap stuff where they cheat. No, all pink champagne is literally white sparkling wine and just a little bit of red wine dropped in, a little bit of Pinot Noir to dye it, to colour it. It's actually more common in that instance than it is in the cheaper stuff. The cheaper stuff generally means skin contact has been minimal. So those are the 3 ways of making rosé. So the colour always comes from the skin. Blush probably came about when bigger more fuller-bodied reds like Zinfandel, which is actually a really dark red grape, or Grenache, which again imparts a lot of colour, came about, where they thought, in order to get a rosé out of this, we really are just gonna leave the skin in for like a whiff of time, just a couple of hours or something like that. And so it's just a blush of skin contact. That's probably where the word came about. It has no systemized or regulated meaning. So it doesn't mean that the wine is going to be dry. It doesn't mean that the wine is going to be sweet. It doesn't mean that it's going to be one grape or another. It has no meaning. So be wary of the word blush. However, you can judge a rosé by something a bit more reliable, and that's the weather. So, if you look, just like when we were talking about our Chardonnays, if you look at rosé that comes from a cooler climate, it's probably going to be higher in acid, it's going to be more refreshing, it's going to be more light, because when you're in a cooler country, the acidity stays high and the grape gets less ripe and you get less sugars. So it's going to be a cleaner, more refreshing flavour of rosé. If you move into warmer countries, you're going to get those darker rosés, which are going to be richer and more full-bodied and maybe a little bit more sugary. That doesn't mean sweet, I'm not talking about sweetness, but just a little bit more rich in fruity flavour. So I've had people say to me, is blush rosé sweet or is blush rosé dry? Which is it? There isn't really an answer. It could be one or the other. Pale, however, is pretty trendy at the moment, and that's what people tend to look for. And obviously pale generally is associated with the region of Provence.
It is. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but just to bring up the tasting, what people are tasting. Obviously, a lot of love for strawberry. We've got some wood, herb, slight tannin, seaweed. Boozy as well came in.
Boozy.
I think, what percentage are we?
4.5.
Yeah, so it's not too boozy. I think it is. I think it's because of that dryness, like it's quite sharp. You think, flumped. It definitely got a flump vibe to it. Strawberry and cream, wild strawberry.
Like it.
Can't say if we've eaten a wild strawberry. But there you go. So that's the queries on that. So what is? We've also had a comment there saying best one so far.
Oh,
so a bit of love for the pink. Where are we? What are we drinking? I think you've kind of given away a little.
So I've got to put it on the spot.
Put it on the spot.
When it comes to pale pink rosé, Provence in the south of France very much is the place to be at the moment. Pale pink rosés from Provence, super popular. They all are a blend. Provence's rosés are all a blend, and they are generally all a blend of these three grapes. This example from Chateau L'Escarel, Palm Paris Escarel, is a almost perfectly even blend. 34% Grenache, 33% Syrah or Shiraz, and 33% Cinsault. These wines are pretty much always a blend of those three, or maybe one or two of the three blended together. But generally, Provence rosé is that blend, and it's in a pale style, and it will sometimes comes in a fancy bottle, can command quite big prices, but it is super popular and super trendy at the moment, isn't it? Everybody wants a bit of Provence rosé.
Everybody wants a bit of Provence, and that one that we keep getting all the time, we get asked, do you sell it? Have you got it? Do you know where you can get it? Is that very, very big behemoth of the Provence rosé scene, Whispering Angel.
Whispering Angel, yeah. 20% of all Provence rosé sales internationally, one brand, Whispering Angel.
Yeah, and I think you're struggling to get a bottle for much less than $18.99,
yeah,
20,
I'm not familiar, but it's around the 20 quid mark.
It's around that £20 mark, yeah, and it is. It's. I think from looking at it, it was Cinsault and Rollo, so Vermentino.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big wine.
And there are also lots of other brands hot on its tail, like X and stuff like that are trying to replicate it.
Yes.
However,
we've
got a bit of a Provence guide for you. So if you are into these pale pinkers, and this is right up your street, and why wouldn't it be? I certainly enjoy them in the summer months. We've got a little bit of a guide. Guest writer Justin has done an article this month, and it's on the site. Top 5 wines that you should buy before Whispering Angel. Yeah. And we're going to take them through them now.
We are, yeah. Before you go and part with 20 fine English pounds for a bottle of Whispering Angel, or if you know someone who is an out-and-out Whispering Angel, let's call it, whore, and get them something else to try. You know, give them a shot on something. So we've got 5 wines that we're going to try. Sam's going to move over there while I'm trying to fill, and he's just not moving. So yeah, we've got an article. It's on the website. 5 wines to try before Whispering Angel, and take a look, see what you reckon, especially if you've got that friend who is, you know, really, really into it. So Sam's going to give us a little whistle-stop tour of the France and the region of Provence. Oh,
from the beginning, Dan.
From the beginning. What's going on here? Here we go. Take you back.
Here we go. Okay, so powers of technology. Oh, look at this. Green screen. Here we go. We're in France. Here we go. Map of France. Paris at the top there. So Burgundy sort of sits between Dijon and Lyon here. They're sort of the top and bottom of Burgundy. Got Bordeaux just down here. Atlantic coast for Bordeaux, super famous. Côte d'Aron sits around here, guys. And then Provence, just down here above Marseille. Let's have a little zoom in. Here we go. So, Provence Rosé, or pale pink stuff. It all grows in this sort of region here, just above the Mediterranean coast. You've got Aix-en-Provence. A-I-X is pronounced X. It's kind of like the capital city of the region, if you like. It's a small city, little university city. It's the capital of that region. And then over here, you've got your Nice, your Cannes, your Saint-Tropez. We're talking Pocheville, the French Riviera, the super, super smart places in the south of France. This is the centre of posh pale pink. You've got names like Kylie. She doesn't actually grow the grapes or do anything to do with the wine. She just slaps her name on it and takes a little bit of profit, but she's down there in this region. Miraval, if you know Miraval, Brangelina, they actually own the vineyard. Miraval, they're grown in that sort of area. Post Malone, the young'uns will know who he is. Tattoo-faced geezer, put his name recently on posh pink stuff. And of course, the handsome man himself. Diggle, diggle. Look at that beard. Very nice. Clooney also owns a vineyard down there, producing super posh pink stuff. That's Provence. But if you just come round the coast and down to this region here, we're in Languedoc. Languedoc sits sort of between Perpignan and Montpellier, and actually it's not just a coastal region, it goes right inside, right inland here. Languedoc, it's actually it is the biggest winemaking region in the south of France. You can get some fantastic examples of pale pink rosé made from the exact 3 grapes, so made from Syrah, Grenache and Cinsault. And Dan, you have got those 5 wines sat in front of you right now, haven't you?
Certainly do, yes. So a couple of these are really big, firm favourites on the Smash Grape store. Now, the wine 3 that you're drinking now, Palm, obviously is a great alternative to paying top whack for some of those big posh Provence roses. But it's still, it's still on the upper cusp of kind of where we would normally sit. Le Vion Rose and the Montrachet Rosé, both of these 100% Cinsault, coming in under a tenner. These are some of our biggest sellers, especially as it gets warm. These wines, we've converted Whispering Angel drinkers onto these. So we got these 2 from that region, and the other Esquirels, they are from Provence themselves, aren't they, Sam?
Yep. So Le Vion Rose, I think that's $8.49 a bottle. Le Montrachet, I think it's $8.99 a bottle. Over in the Languedoc, we are talking Cinsault, we're talking Grenache, we're talking Syrah, the exact same blend of grapes. Kylie actually also has another rosé that is richly right from next door. She doesn't just have the posh stuff. But yeah, same weather, same grapes, everything's the same, just the land prices aren't particularly insane, and so you can enjoy a similar experience for far, far less money, like downstairs less than a tenner. However, if you do want to drink a little bit of that Saint-Tropez lifestyle, then our recommendation is the pear from Chateau Esquirel, just down the road from Brad and Angelina. That's a nice little thing to say. And those are the 2 wines that Dan pointed out earlier. There's 2, Chateau Esquirel. There's the Palm, it's $11.99. That's what we are drinking right now. And then there is the Chateau Agnes, which is the cherubs. That's what Agnes means in French. And that's their sort of premium range. That's $14.99. However, Chateau Esquirel, they are big players in the Provence world. They've been known for a long old time, but they've more recently become big players in French wine generally, because they now have the highest certification available to them for organic winemaking, for sustainable winemaking, for decent agricultural practices. These guys are certainly national leaders, if not European and world leaders, in making wine responsibly. So we're talking no pesticides, good use of labour, quality planting, and all sorts of fantastic stuff. This is what you want to pay for. If you want to drink posh pale pink stuff in the summer, and you want to pay a little bit more for it, and we're still not talking about the 20 quid for your Whispering Angel, or the 16 quid or so for AIX. If you want to pay for posh pale pink stuff, pay for that. Pay for quality organic grapes, pay for good sustainable practices. Don't pay for this little chappie's face.
And if you don't want to drink French, if you do just want to try, you want to say to them, look, we're drinking a lovely pale Provence style rosé, but actually, haha, it's not even from Provence or from France. We've got the Rosa Passo from Biscardo as well. Another fantastic winemaker. We do a lot of our wines. This one isn't even any of those grapes. Completely different blend of grapes, but it offers the same experience.
Pinot Nero, the Italian name for Pinot Noir. So, Pinot Noir, I'm sure we're all familiar with Pinot Noir. You can make fantastic pale rosé out of it. These guys, Biscardo family, one of the top families in Veneto in northern Italy, they make really, really expensive and top flight Soave and Amarone. So they've got this trio of wines, the red, the white, and that's the rosé, which they decided to make to stick true to their roots as a humble Italian family. So at $11.99, it's at the lower end for them, but it is an example of absolute world-class winemaking. And that's the truth. The truth is, you can experience world-class winemaking for 12 quid.
Absolutely.
Not 20, not 30, not anything like that.
Truffle Runner, some amazing Sicilian rosés around that under £10 mark as well.
Yeah, Catarratto rosé.
We've not had that in, I don't think.
No, we've not. We've not had any
rosé.
Sicilian rosé in. We should have a look for that. But yeah, absolutely.
Catarratto rosé, did you say? That's a white grape.
Yeah, but it's like Pinot Grigio. It's got like a dusky pink sort of grey colour to it.
Wonderful. Look forward to that. I like a Catarratto. So yeah, see how that one goes. Right, so number 3, we've waffled on for enough time now. Number 3, get that drunk, get it out your glasses. Now, remember, we did ask you to red wine 4, chill that down a little bit. We're going to do this together. We're going to try red wine, which is wine 4, the green label. We're going to try that chilled.
Get it out the fridge now.
Get it out the fridge now. We know that at this point in the night, some people do like a little commercial break, maybe nip to the loo. So we've got a new little segment we're going to try it. We're going to try something little new for you. We are... No bread tonight, no.
We didn't put anything on the board.
We didn't put anything... Well, when did you have you had time to bake this week? You've not. We do have a little pineapple lamp though. No one spotted that just yet.
I'm surprised no one spotted Cocktail Corner, pineapple lamp.
Yeah, we kept it heard. Her indoors has gone off to the fridge now, right? From No Longer Anonymous. We've got a new little segment we're going to try for you. We've just looked at some bits and pieces that happened this month in the world of wine news. So, Try Before You Buy, June, it's time for our news segment. Good evening and welcome to the Smash Grapes Try Before You Buy wine news. In politics, it has been revealed that a member of the House of Lords sent a series of letters criticising the disappointing food and drink served in Parliament, complaining of too much salmon and poor quality Chardonnay. One letter submitted by the Lord, who received over £300 a day for attending, may I add, was that both the Chardonnay and the Sauvignon Blanc were really poor quality, and can something be done?
Perhaps they should take a look at Smash Grapes, Dan.
I would rather they didn't, Sam. I would rather they didn't.
Fair enough. In other news, the man who ages like a fine wine, singer and boy band frontman Gary Barlow, celebrated the launch of his rosé this month, in addition to his already popular white and red blends. Yes, if you love fairly average Spanish table wine, but you want to pay a little more for it because it's got the name of your mum's favourite singer on the bottle, then look no further.
Sounds like Gary wants to rule the world. So.
That's right, Dan, but he'll need to have a little patience.
Oh, terrible, terrible. And finally, in America, a store owner got quite the shock when refilling the shelves of the wine aisle. Viewers, do please take note, this next clip does contain some distressing and disturbing scenes. Right, so there you go. We will be back there. Can you imagine having to clean that up?
Oh my God.
Get a straw. Forget the mop. Look at it. What a waste. That's a blend there. What a waste. We'll be back in about 1 minute's time. So go and grab your chilled wine fork. Get in a glass. Start drinking. I'm going to launch the What You Tasting poll. And please do use the YouTube chat or the Q&A function on Slido. Really intrigued to see what everyone's thinking here about a chilled red for number 4. Hi, I'm Dan, and this is the Smashed Grapes Wine Club, the snobbery-free wine subscription where you can explore great wines picked purely for drinkability. Most wine subscriptions will tell you a wine's great based on heritage, reputation, and old-fashioned pretentiousness. At Smashed Grapes, we pick wines for one reason only, the glug factor. It's all about that lip-smacking flavour. Not only that, but we source from all independent producers and are 100% carbon neutral. So what do you get? Well, you get 6 bottles of wine, red, white, or mixed, whichever you prefer. There'll be some familiar favourites and some that we've picked from further afield that we know you're going to love. You get a copy of our monthly magazine, Wine Matter, an easy read for our easy drinking vinos, and some snacks because, hey, who doesn't love snacks? Deliveries are as often as you like. Pick a plan that suits you and you're free to cancel anytime. If you're a first-time subscriber, you'll get 30% off your first case. That's nearly 2 bottles for free. Grab yours now. Cheers. It would help if we turn the mics on. Who is that guy?
Who was that guy?
Such a professional host, you know. The 2 Ronnies was a comment that came in there. What a way to, unusual way to blend wine.
Yeah.
With glass as well. Could you imagine that?
I just don't even think about how they got about that. You'd need a lot more than 1 sheet to deal with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 1 sheet is not gonna. 1 sheet is not gonna be plenty. In
100 sheets,
yeah.
1,000 sheets.
I just don't even know where you'd begin. Because imagine like it's seeping under the remnants of the shelf and the smell, and that's gonna.
Just go home.
Yeah,
I'd go home and close the doors. Burn it down.
Burn it down. We'll start again. Yeah, right. Okie dokes. So, red wine.
Red wine number 1.
Yep, in pouch
Chilled.
number 4, chilled.
Oh yeah, sorry. Pouch number 4.
I'm gonna just ask a quick one about what people's regular grape when it comes to reds is. Want you all,
What's your favourite?
please jump on Slido or use YouTube chat. Let us know what's your go-to grape when it comes to reds.
Come on, cheese.
Get in the cheeses, yeah, go for it. Malbec, yeah, we knew that one was coming. Pinot Noir, yeah, big favourite of mine. Just let us know what your kind of go-tos are, and then in the Q&A section of Slido or on the chat, whatever, just let us know how this chilled
red. Come on then.
Cheers.
Cheers. For the chilled red. Come on, with the cheese in.
Yeah, that's it's not bad. I don't think this. I mean, it's unoffensive, isn't it? You know, it's. And I do, as a predominantly red wine drinker, I do sometimes struggle with that. What to do when I'm sat having a barbecue?
Yeah.
You know, and it's dead hot outside, and I'm just.
So generally, when we're talking about chilling reds, which I don't think is unfamiliar to most people, but it might not be something we've done before. The reality is, when you chill a red wine, you are going to mute some of the fruity flavours. That you know, the fruitiness of the wine is definitely going to become less as a result of chilling. What tends to happen when you mute the fruitiness of a red wine is that the bitter tannins come through. And so, for example, the last red wine that we're going to drink tonight, which is packed full of tannins, if you chilled it down and got rid of the fruitiness, the bitterness that would be left behind would be too much. It would just not be enjoyable. So if you are going to chill a red wine and mute the fruitiness, you've got to make sure that the tannins are already quite low. How do we do that? Tannins sit in the skins of a red wine. They are the bitterness, the astringency of red wine, they come from the skins. And generally, the thicker the skins, the higher the tannins, and the thinner the skins, the lower the tannins. And we're going to come back to my favourite thing, weather. Cooler climates permit thinner skinned grapes to grow, and warmer climates, you need thicker skins to grow to survive the summer sun and the summer heat. So you've got to be in the cooler areas for a thinner skin for less tannins. There are some exceptions to that, and that is the wine that we're drinking now from... Oh, should I put it on the spot? Put it on the spot. That one. From Sicily, this is Frappato. So Frappato is a native grape to Sicily. Oh, this red is lovely. Enjoying chilled, refreshing, but lacking depth in flavour. Yep, feeling it. Lacking fruitiness. People, guys know. They know. Yeah. So yeah, the fruitiness is compromised. There's no doubt about it. The fruitiness is compromised by the chilling. But Frappato, it's native to Sicily. It can deal with the heat, but when they grow it high up the mountains, so you've got Mount Etna, this is a volcanic island, it can be categorized as a cool climate variety. It's slightly cooler and down in the flatter plains of Sicily. The skins aren't too thick. Frappato as a grape, the astringency and the tannins are pretty low, and therefore you can enjoy it chilled. And yes, the fruit is muted, but it's not too bitter, is it? I think it's
that's the thing. When you drink a red that is a bit too cold, like sometimes when we get deliveries in here, especially in the winter, you know, the reds can be really cold, and we've had to warm them up because you drink a big red when it's chilled or it's below room temperature.
It's just bitter.
It is really bitter. No, this is dead smooth. I get what people. I really like this wine. We've had it, you know, a few times. I get what people are saying. It's a little bit muted and it's not quite as fruity because actually, when this is room temperature, this is quite. You know, this is on par with a Malbec.
Yeah,
it's a great alternative if you're looking for. Yeah, I always drink Malbec, and actually, some of the cheaper ones you buy, they're a bit here, there, and everywhere. I want to try something new. Frappato is a great alternative for someone who's a Malbec lover. So I drink this quite a lot, and I mean it's nice chilled, and I can imagine in the heat and sunshine it would go down really well. But it is also, if you are thinking, oh, it's a little bit wishy-washy for me, warm it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think.
But if you had a Malbec and you drank that chilled, Malbec has very thick skins, and it would, if you chilled it, it would be bitter as a result. So that's.
Tracy and Kev have just admitted they didn't chill it.
Oh,
but they're loving it, and they're getting a sweet chocolate cinnamony taste.
Ooh, very
But they
nice.
wanted to let everyone know. You know what? You know, this is confession time. We like it.
So Sicily, outside of trying Frappato chilled, Sicily, fantastic region for red and white wines, particularly red. Yeah, if you love Malbec, Frappato, Nera d'Avola is their other native grape variety. Sicily spent basically most of the 20th century producing grapes to make Marsala wine for cooking. Super cheap, not very cheerful, not great wine at all. But in the last, I have to remember what year
10
we're
to
in.
15 years.
Yeah, in the last 10 to 15 years, the government in Sicily have actually been funding vineyards to move away from this mass-produced grapes from Marsala wine and into table wine making, and the native grape varieties make fantastic table wine. Frappato, fantastic. Nera d'Avola, one of my favourite red wines of all time. Catarratto as a white wine, and Grillo as a white wine, absolutely fantastic. Sicily, the land is ridiculously cheap to farm on. It's super fertile, so it's really easy to grow grapes on. So it's very, very cheap. If you are going to venture into the sub £6 a bottle wine market, which I don't recommend. I know it's hard times, and you know, Christ Almighty, cost of living and all that sort of stuff. If you're going to go cheap on wine, I tend to recommend go 6 to 10 because generally that means that the producer has had a fair wage, the pickers have had a fair wage, the wine itself is of a decent quality. If you are going to go below £6 on a bottle of wine in your favourite supermarkets, Aldi, Lidl, we shop there, we love it, go Sicily, because the land there is so cheap and the reputation of the country means that you can get great quality wine that has paid a fair price to the workers for that sort of money. But for Christ's sake, don't buy below £6 branded wine like Hardy's and all that sort of stuff. It is the definition of an up-and-coming region, so you can pay less for it. That won't last forever.
No,
it will
enjoy it while it's there.
Yeah.
We asked everyone what their favourite reds were. We had a lot of the usuals. Malbec. We had Naubec as well. I'm sure someone's just had a couple of one too many Naubecs tonight, maybe. Chateauneuf de Pape. Someone's doing all right.
Which isn't a grape. It's
No.
a blend of grapes.
It
Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre.
It is. We had Cab Sauv, Emporda. Don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Morello
Morello Mascalese. Who was that? Who was that?
Mascalese. Yeah, someone's got it.
Come on.
Oh.
Was that you, David?
Right. There we go. That's what people were saying. A lot of love for the cheesy snacks as well.
These are really good.
Need another glass to taste it warmer as it's gone. Yeah, it's easy drink. It's easy drank at that chilled temp. Easy drank. So, right, get number 4 out of your glass. Wrap your hands around your glass if it is a little bit cold as well, just to bring that glass back up to room temp, because wines 5 and 6, we want they are red, so we want you to drink them room temperature. If you ended up banging all the 3 reds in the fridge, there's nothing wrong with getting 5 and 6, popping them near the radiator, doing something to just warm them up a little bit.
Who's got the heating on?
Truth there, yeah, no one's got the heating on right now. But you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, you've got no hope. There's no radiators here. Sit it near the. If the sun's still out, yeah, it's not going to be warming anything up. Hold it. Just warm
Put
it
it on
up.
top of a lamp.
Yeah, put it.
LED bulbs.
LED bulbs. Yeah, they don't emit a lot of heat. They're very energy efficient. Just try and warm it up some way, somehow. Warm it up. If you've got a baby in the house, get the bottle warmer out. Put your wines in it. The baby.
Before we move on to the next wine, Dan, give me
Yeah.
a bit of time to finish one. Tell everybody why these cheesy snacks are so bloody great with wine.
Well, there we go. Talk about putting you on the spot. No, so when you're thinking about snacks and pairings and whatever else when it comes to wine, any wine will benefit from something with a bit of salt and a bit of fat. That's why when you go to a restaurant and you're like, oh my God, this mashed potato, I can't get it like this at home. It's because they put an obscene amount of butter, rock salt, and cream into that mashed potato, right? So fat and salt will make wine taste great. So when you're thinking about cheese, especially these cheesy snacks, they're pretty salty because of the way that they're not added salt to them. Obviously they're dried to make them crispy. They're pretty salty, and they're pretty fatty because it's cheesy, and it makes wine taste great. Brings out all the fruit flavors. It can make it contrasts with a high acid white wine. Really cuts through it. It's what people say when you cleanse your palate. Really just cuts through. And in reds, it's just like, welcome to Flavour Town. Population, you guys.
Even plain crisps, like
Plain crisps.
in the professional game, they just put plain crisps everywhere at wine tasting because of that saltiness, and the fat will just make the wines taste better as a result. So yeah, this is the place to snack.
This is the place to snack.
Guilt-free.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like when it comes to, it's one of those things, when you do like wine and cheese pairings, kits now available on Smashgrapes.
Thank you to everybody that's bought a kit.
Yeah, these kits are going mental. Spending my life pouching wine now, which is great. Love it. And more kits are on the way.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, actually, as someone who's kind of interacting with us on this, who, is getting involved in the chat, we'd love to know what kits you would like. If you could do a wine tasting kit, if you could do a kit and have it sent to you and just, watch the video and what would you want to do?
Yeah.
We've had a lot of requests for grapes, and they're coming online in the next week or so.
Sauvignon and Malbec.
Yeah, finishing a couple of those off. So, try 6 different Sauvignon Blancs so you can see what the difference is between here and there and Malbec, and we'll do a few other ones. If you could have a kit of wine what kit would you be interested in? Because it'd be good for us to know.
Cheese and wine has been super popular. The charcuterie and wine has been super popular. We've got the best of France, we've got the best of Spain, and we've got the best of Italy. But as Dan says, if you've got something else that you think is missing from that, let us know. That'd be great to know.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, good to know. As you kind of, you've been here, you've done it, you know what we're about. Love to the English wine and cheese. Something like that. Oof. There's always one, isn't there?
We're off to an English vineyard.
We are off to see an English vineyard in the next
couple of weeks.
Next week or two. Yeah, we've had a couple of really good conversations, and we're going to go and have a little visit and have a chat. So fingers crossed, we might be bringing you some really good
There's
English
two
wine.
major things at play when it comes to English wine: price and quality. These guys that we're going to see, we're not going to say who they are. We think they possibly have the quality, and we think they possibly have the price to deliver to you guys the best experience. Because generally what we tend to find with English wine at the moment is if the quality is there, they're charging a ridiculous price. And I don't blame them, because land is expensive in the UK, but it's just not suitable for our site. The prices are mad, just madness. I wouldn't pay them. I would not pay them for what they're asking. We've found some people. They've invited us to go up and taste in the next couple of weeks. Pricing is really good, and it's really accessible, and it means that you guys can drink English wine anytime. It doesn't have to be a special occasion. I think the pricing is really good. If the quality is great, and we haven't tried it yet, so we don't know, but if the quality is great, it will be on the site, and I'm super excited. I really hope it is.
I hope it works out. We have tried it. We've tried some English wine, and it just wasn't up to par.
No, it wasn't up to par. So I'm really excited. I think these guys will deliver, but we're yet to see. And if they do, then it will be on the site. They've got loads as well. They've got red, they've got white, they've got sparkling, they've got rosé. If it delivers on quality, the prices are great. It'd be really exciting to get that to you, because we want to have it on the store, but so far it's just not been possible. But hopefully, fingers crossed.
A lot of love for the Malbec pack. A lot of love for the Malbec pack. Yeah, we knew that was going to be.
Yeah, we've got to get that up there.
Yeah, we knew that was going to be.
Yeah.
So when it comes to cheese, to go back to the early point, obviously certain cheeses go great with certain. So white salty cheeses go great with white wines. Your blue, bolder, bigger cheese is great with reds, but actually they all cut across each other, because I think cheese just makes wine taste unbelievable. Cheese and wine are food of the gods, absolute food of the gods. Right, so where are we at? Have we got any questions? Hot water works very well to warm the pouches. I got white and red mixed up once. There you go. So if you're heating a baby bowl, bang it in a little bit of water. It's not gonna not in it. Don't mix it in. We're not diluting it. Right, a Portuguese pack.
Yeah, I'd love to do a Portuguese pack.
It'd be tough, that, wouldn't it? Well, it wouldn't be tough, but it would be.
I'm a big fan of Portuguese wine.
Yeah.
Massive fan. But I'm not sure we've got quite enough variety yet.
No. But if you are a fan of Portuguese wine, keep your eyes peeled, because we have got a bit of a partnership going with a vineyard down in the Algarve, which is quite unusual. It's very hot down there. They have got a really, really good, highly drinkable red. It is
the red, white, and the rosé are very drinkable.
Proper table drinkable wine. We're just sorting all the kind of logistics that come with that out, and we're looking to get those listed and kind of really push them actually as one of our champion wines. They're bloody great. So if you're a fan of Portuguese wine, there's a bit of that coming up as well. Middle Eastern wines. The home of wines.
Yes. Lebanese. We should really get them in there, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Lebanon, Georgia.
We should. Yeah. We need to do better, Dan.
We need to be better.
Yeah.
Do better. Right. Number 5. If you haven't already, get it poured. Put it in your glass. A Romanian pack would be great. I know you're already Romanian fans. We could do a Romanian pack.
We've already got 6 fantastic Romanian wines.
Yeah. 100%. We could do that. A couple of natives. A couple of classics. Sold to the highest bidder there. Romanian pack I think would go down well. I think it's a nice support difference. I think as well, one thing I'm pushing for is that pairing doesn't have to be posh. So I think a pub snacks and wine.
Pork scratchings.
Oh yeah, what wine to pair with a pork scratching?
Fish and chips.
Yeah, Burton's fish and chips.
Scampi fries.
I'm more of a bacon fry myself.
Ooh.
I feel the lemon of a scampi fry is a little overpowering. So yeah, bacon fries, Burton's fish and chips, and pork scratchings. Pair me, Sam. Pair me. That's coming to a box near you soon. Right. What are we tasting here for wine number 5?
Okay, so we've done the patio wine with the Chardonnay. We've done the, moving into the evening if you want to stay on white wine with a bonfire. We've done trying red wine chilled with the Frappato. We're moving on now to the big boys. We're moving on to the barbecue fare. You've got somebody who knows what they're doing. They're turning out sausages. They're turning out the burgers. They've got some ribs, maybe some, who knows? Who knows? This wine, for me, absolutely embodies the perfect all-rounder. Some red wines just are built for doing anything, and this is one of them. What do I mean by that? What's an all-rounder? Well, we've talked about acidity, we've talked about ripeness or sugar, we've talked about tannin, the astringency, and then the last one is body. The full-bodiedness of a wine is made up of all those components. So a wine that's got high acidity is going to be lower in body. A wine that's got higher alcohol is going to be more full-bodied. A wine that's got more tannins is going to be more full-bodied. This wine that we're drinking right now sits on the medium line. It's right in the centre. And generally at Smash Grapes, we don't like things that are mediocre. We don't like things that are medium or sit in the middle. But if you are having loads of friends over, you've got the barbecue going, and you want them to be able to enjoy a great red wine without blowing their face off, but also, giving a bit of oomph, then you need those medium body wines, and this is where Tempranillo comes in. There you go, it's on the mark. Tempranillo from Ignacio Moran. We're in Cariñena in Spain, tiny little region. Cariñena being the Spanish word for Carignan, where Carignan was born. But they do all sorts of grape varieties there. Tempranillo, of course, being one of them. Tempranillo being the main grape found in Rioja, as well as many other places in Spain.
Got a lot of flavours coming in. A lot of love for blackberry.
For sure.
No bitter aftertaste. Blueberry spice. Sour cherry. Surprisingly softer than expected.
Ooh.
There you go. Macaron. Marzipan.
Marzipan. Bloody hell, sophisticated palates tonight.
Serious palates going on.
For me, Tempranillo, I love Tempranillo. I cannot rate it highly enough. Dan will tell you, I'm not a fan of Merlot. Because Merlot is very much the French equivalent of Tempranillo, that medium level. And Merlot, as a result, can be a bit boring. It really can be a bit medium. Tempranillo sits in that medium area in the sense that the tannins aren't that offensive. The alcohol, we're saying it.
13.5.
13.5. It's not too offensive.
No.
Nothing about Tempranillo is too offensive, but it actually provides tons of flavour. It is the medium. It's the great all-rounder. If you're having a dinner party, a barbecue, got groups of people around, I cannot emphasise enough how good Tempranillo is. Tempranillo is the grape that is found in most Riojas. But the thing about Rioja is it's very, very much embedded in oak aging. So unless you buy a young Rioja or a Rioja Joven, there's going to be a lot of oak aging. And that oak aging actually is too much flavour for your average party or garden party or barbecue. Tempranillo on its own, without the oak aging, like this, fantastic for parties. Everyone can get on board. Everyone can enjoy the flavour. It's not too overpowering. It's not too boring. It is the perfect red wine to meet everybody's standards.
This wine does give me wood.
Hello.
Have we got a bit of wood in here, or
no wood at all.
No wood at all. Nice.
It's just. Oh no, there might be some wood.
Is this not the one that's got a little bit of old barrel in it?
You're right.
Yeah.
A little bit of second-hand barrel, just like our Bonfire Hill. So yeah, I think it's like 12% of the wine gets second-hand barrel aging. So 2 or 3 or.
How do you decide on that? Like, that's a very specific percentage, isn't it, for that one? Just put 12% into some oak.
This much.
This much is going to go into oak, and then we're going to water that oak down. Like, why not put the whole thing in for less time? Buy more barrels, isn't it?
Yeah,
buy more barrels, I guess. But yeah, no, it's, It's a lovely little drop. This. I can. Do you know what? I can already close. I can close my eyes and I can think about the char lines on a burger, you know, and a nice brioche bun, which this is one of the reasons why, you know, brioche is an enriched dough. It's full of butter. White chars very well if you put it in a toaster on a barbecue. Brioche bun, loads of fat, cheese, nice proper beef burger. Bit of this. Oh, I tell you what, I'm sold. I am sold.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Right.
Absolutely. Tempranillo. Don't forget Rioja. Tempranillo has a great, the absolute must go to. If you're having a big party and you want to have a red wine, this is a great for you.
A lot of love for the Romanian pack. Also, maybe like an unknown regions pack as well. I'm not sure how you'd. I mean, a lot of people are aware of different places now as well. So you can do your less known favourites, I guess, or something.
Yeah,
or
we could do that.
You know, wider regions. It's going with my cheese and cocktail onions.
Onions.
What, like a silver skin on cheese? Is that like a cheesy pineapple, but replacing the pineapple with a? Well, you do sometimes see them with a pickled onion. I'm not sure about red wine and pickled onions. Cocktail onions.
Where have they got those from?
Well, we haven't sent them.
Yeah, I know we haven't sent them. Where they got them from? They're just cocktail onions knocking about.
Available at all major supermarkets. Little silver skin pickled onions. Little ones. Do you ever do fizz in a pouch?
We wish we could.
We wish we could. No, it's not at the minute. It's not logistically possible. The pouch would just expand to the point at which it would explode. There's not enough pressure in a pouch to keep the fizz in. That, incidentally, as a complete side note, is one of the reasons why glass bottles still have a dimple in the bottom. It's called the punt. In a still wine, it means nothing. It's just a hangover from when wine bottles used to be blown by hand. And it's where the glass would be blown and finished. In a sparkling wine, the punt, the dimple, does give the bottle structural stability to hold the fizz in. And if if the pressure isn't there, the fizz will escape, and the pouch will explode. So at the minute, the short answer to a very long ramble there was no, we can't do fizz in a pouch. There are potentially other options to do it, but as soon as you open the fizz bottle and pour it into something else, you lose the fizz.
Yeah.
So it's difficult, very difficult to do.
This brings me on to something I was going to include in the news this month.
Okay.
Jacob Rees-Mogg, everyone's favourite, Tory, was quoted as saying that one of the benefits of Brexit was going to, and losing that European bureaucracy was going to be the fact that we could abandon the law that all sparkling wine has to be made in a glass bottle. He was quoted this week as saying, that's one of the things we can let go of. That's one of the positives that we can let go of as a result of Brexit. We don't need to make sparkling wine in a glass bottle. Sparkling wine, champagne, in a glass bottle has about the same sort of pressure as your average van tyre. And actually he was saying, we can put it in plastic bottles. Pretty much every major producer of wine has turned around and said, if you put our wine in a plastic bottle, there is a danger it's going to explode in people's faces.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. It's very tough to do anything fizzy to the level of the sparkling wine. You might be able to do like Frizzante, which when you see Frizzante on a label, that is actually the amount of sparkle in the wine. Frizzante is
half as much.
Yeah, Frizzante means a slightly less sparkling, and that is why you will see Frizzante in a screw cap.
Mm-hmm.
So you will see screw cap fizz that is a Frizzante. It's because it's not as fizzy. Actual Prosecco, champagne, etc. If it was in a screw cap, would bust the cap off.
Yeah, and if it was in a plastic bottle, it would literally be dangerous.
Yeah. So the carbonation level versus a Coca-Cola in a plastic bottle, two very, very different things. So long answer to your question there, Shez. No, we can't do fizz in a pouch.
I'd like to be able to, because we have fantastic. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But we have fantastic alternatives to champagne. We have fantastic alternatives to Prosecco. And check out our carvers and our other offerings. But I wish we could.
We just need to think of also running it through any kind of machine to get it from the bottle into the things going to ruin
Tracy and Kev, in-person event is then. Just got to find a venue.
Well, I feel like if we cleared up some room in here, we could probably do a small.
Yeah.
I reckon we could get 50 people in here.
Oh yeah.
Easy. So then travel up. We'll do a little Chester-based 50-person fizz. 50 for fizz. How about that? Right. So number 5, get it finished off. Get it out your glass. Keep the questions coming. Remember, you can use Slido. You can also use the YouTube chat. Get number.
Have you got a pouch for this one?
I've probably got one pouch.
Well,
We're going to want more than a glass.
I'm going to have to actually open it.
Sam's going to have to do a bit of work, everyone. You got bear witness to this. Yes. Get number 6 poured out and in your glasses.
It's actually getting rarer and rarer for us to have a cork, isn't it?
It is, yes. Cork, if you've got any wine snobby friends that will only drink bottles with a cork in, disown them. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. The only reason that people still put corks in bottles, or say the only reason, there's 2 reasons. One, because of snobbery, and they just have this opinion that corks are better. And 2, the winery already has the machinery to do corks, so they don't want to invest in the machinery to then put screw caps on. The sole purpose at the top of a bottle of wine is to keep air out. That is all it is there for. Keep air out, because oxygen is the enemy of wine. With a screw cap, the rate of failure is pretty much non-existent. I mean, it's there, but it's minimal. It's absolutely non-existent. With synthetic corks, the plasticky, rubbery ones, again, pretty much non-existent. With real natural cork, they fail. If the wine, that's why you should store wine on its side if you've got a real cork in it, to keep the cork moist so that it doesn't shrink up and let air in. So, anyone who says to you, "Oh, I only drink wine with a cork," no, I don't drink screw cap. Just tell them to do one. Tell them to sod off, because it means nothing, absolutely nothing. So don't let people put you off a little bit of screw cap wine. Shez is in for the fizz event.
See you there, Shez.
Sold 1 ticket. Right. Number 5. Get it poured out. From memory, I've not had a sip of this one yet. From memory, this is a big boy.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy. So I'm going to launch the poll again, see what you guys are thinking. Where are we? There we go. So yeah, let us know what you're tasting here for red wine, the number 6. Wine 6, please. Let's have a little go, see what we're saying. Black cherry, come straight in.
Black cherry.
Do you know what I actually need to do? One thing, having done a lot of these tastings now, I need to taste the different types of cherries. I don't think I know the difference between a black cherry and a red cherry and a... I like a glassy cherry or a Morello cherry. But yeah, like the one off the top of a baked roll tart.
Yeah.
More seaweed.
Who's the seaweed?
I think someone might need to go and take a lateral flow.
Yeah.
Seaweed. That's a strong... Or you've eaten too much of the cheese and you've got salt palate overload. Toffee, licorice.
Yeah.
Black cherry, black currant.
Excuse me.
There you go. What
again?
I mean, I know we're not going into... What percentage is this one?
This is a big boy. I can't even see it.
Sam can't see straight now. We are a bottle of wine in. Sam's struggling to see.
14.5.
Oh, you can tell, can't you? You can tell. Chocolate, aniseed. 14.5 we're in at here, guys. Rounding the night off on a heavy hitter. Heavy hitter. Heavy hitter.
Chocolate coming through as a big cherry.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look.
Toffee as well. Like it very much. So, when we talk about, we talked about the weather when it comes to white wine. We talked about cool climate, being high acidity. As we move into warmer climates with white wine, then we get the more fruitier, riper wines. With red wine, the climate also affects the red fruit flavors. So with the cooler climate red wines, we might have red fruit flavors. As we move into the warmer climates, we have darker fruit flavors. As we move into the super hot climates, and that's where we are for this guy, then those fruit flavors become dark and rich, and jammy. And that is 100% where we are for this wine. that there. If you're going to drink any red wine with smoked, grilled, barbecued meat, then Shiraz definitely is the grape to go with. It is the absolute epitome of a barbecue grape. Shiraz, it originated in the Côte d'Or. It actually has sort of an almost signature flavour of smoked meats when you taste it from the Côte d'Or, but when you taste it from anywhere else in the world, it's a big, chunky red grape. It can tolerate serious heat, which means it has big, bitter tannins, full of dark fruit flavours. It's a big old beast of a red wine. Why are bitter tannins good when it comes to this type of wine pairing? Well, protein, you know, the proteins that you find in steaks and red meat, actually, if you pair them with this type of, the tannins of these types of red wines, it actually literally mellows out those tannins. So the proteins react with the tannins of Shiraz and make it more mellow in flavour, bringing out the fruitiness of the grape. If you're going to go Shiraz, then you're generally going to go Australia. Central Australia, Barossa Valley is super famous for these top flight Shirazes. But Jumilla in the south of Spain is also super hot and can also do the same thing. Jumilla actually has its own signature grape variety, Mourvedre or Monastrell as they call it in Spain. You find it in Côte d'Or. They make super chunky red wines out of it. This wine is called the Mimic, and basically what they're trying to do is use everything they know about growing Monastrell, which is this big chunky red grape, to replicate Australian Shiraz, and I think they do it fantastically well.
If you've got any of these cheese snacks left, the baked cheese, throw a couple of them in your gob, then get a mouthful of that. My God, yeah. It is. Oh. I hope my doctor isn't watching this, but even as a big bolshy in your face lad, I reckon I could drink a couple of bottles of that. It's so smooth, isn't it? It's really easy drinking for what it is.
These
really
guys are used to growing Monastrell, which is an absolute beast of a red grape. They're used to growing it and still producing fantastically smooth red wines. They've had a go at Shiraz. It's called the Mimic because they are literally mimicking what the Australians do with Australian Shiraz. The thing about it is, I think they pull off the smoothness a little bit better than the Australians do.
Is it aged?
It's
because they use that to mellow it out, don't they? Normally in big wines.
It's not had a note. It's literally straight off.
My God.
You know, and it is super smooth. But you know, if you were trying a Barossa Valley Australian Shiraz of the same 14.5%, I just don't think you could even drink it without, you know, a big old chunk of steak or something like that. It's so drinkable, and that's down to quality winemaking that these guys have. If you're going to drink Shiraz for this type of thing, look at the Côte d'Or for sure. Look at Australia for sure. But if you want value, Jumilla in Spain.
And potentially 2023 Smash Grapes wine tours.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Just throwing this one out there. Jumilla has a wine festival. It's in and around June, July, isn't it? Like right in the heart of summer, where they give thanks for the harvest, and the whole kind of region, the little towns and villages, they literally have a water fight, but with red wine.
Yeah, water pistols for the red wine.
Water pistols, buckets, and everyone wears white, and you just go out for the day, and you have a massive fight, and there's like a walk up the mountain, and they come back down, and yeah. Wine tour to Jumilla for the wine fight.
Let's do it.
But look, if you've got any questions, fire them in. I think in the next 3 or 4 minutes, the wines that we have drank tonight should, in theory, be landing in your inbox, if we've set that up. Potentially not, but they will. By the morning, you will have. By the morning, you'll have in your inbox, because look, we're a bottle of red wine in. We're a bottle of wine in tonight. We've been mixing as well. So wines 1 to 6 will be in your inbox. You can see what you like. You've got your £10 vouchers now in the box, so you should have a little postcard in there. There's a little code on the back. You have a £10 voucher there to come back and spend on your favourites. Would you still recommend Durello, says Alistair in the chat? 100%. We don't stock Prosecco. Durello is an Italian sparkling wine from northern Italy. If you go to Italy and drink sparkling wine, you're most likely drinking Durello. They send us Prosecco and keep Durello for themselves. It is a far nicer fizz experience than drinking Prosecco. Prosecco are now, especially as demand's gone really up, quality's come down. A lot of people, prices are going up, yeah. A lot of people drink Prosecco and it's too, they'll use the phrase dry or it gives you a headache and it's this and that. Just because it's mass produced. Durello, which we sell, really good alternative. It's got a very, very slight sweetness compared to Prosecco, but it makes it really, really drinkable. Really, really nice. We sell a lot of Durello. It's a big, big fan favourite. No Longer Anonymous said this one worked really well with a chunk of Cheshire cheese. Oh, hello. Lovely, lovely. Looking for a very good Malbec for a present. Any recommendations?
We've got Malbecs on the store.
We
got
do.
Fantastic Argentinian Malbec. We've got some great French Malbec. But hey, why not surprise them? Why not go for something different? Check out our Nero d'Avola from Sicily.
Yeah, get them a bottle of Frappato.
Or Frappato, yeah. If they love Malbec, go online right now, buy them a bottle of Nero d'Avola or Frappato from Sicily. If they don't love it, I'll give you the money back myself.
There you go. You heard it. You heard it here. We do. To be fair, we do. We sell. We do a lot of Frappato in some of the restaurants and bars that we supply, and we'll tell them to sell it as their Malbec equivalent. And it's amazing the amount of people who go and have a Frappato, then they come along to the store. Oh, I was in XYZ and I tried the Frappato, and they told me I can get it from you. Like it's converting Malbec drinkers. It really is. Really is. So yeah, maybe give them something a little bit different. Otherwise, we've got a really nice organic Malbec, which is great, or we've got a French Malbec. But just because it's a Malbec, it's not the same experience as drinking an RG Malbec. It's very different. That whole kind of Cahors, France vibe. It's a very different drink to an RG Malbec. What else have we got? Said Durello is fabulous. We're running out. We'll need to order some more soon, said Jane and Nigel. Yes. Lovely. Shez loves Durello as well.
Can we do a wine of the night poll again?
Yes, we can do a wine of the night poll. So I'm going to launch the poll now. Wine of the night. What are we thinking? Wine o' the night. Can I do? Have I got any scroll on this? I don't know. Where's my mouse? There it is.
5.
6
is up there.
I'm 5. Which was the Tempranillo. Yeah. No, 6. There we go. Yeah, I think there's going to be I had a feeling one was going to do well. Not a great deal of love for. Oh no, white tea. Stomping up the ranks.
Dominating.
Yeah.
Well, funny, the wine that we're most pissed when we get to always wins.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I love table wine. My favourite type of wine. The best wine you'll ever have. At a wedding, those ones that sit on the table. Doesn't matter what it is. It's always fantastic. Even if it's horrible on the first glass, by the time you've gone and mind-sweeped all the other tables, great by the end of the night. Number 6, runaway winner there.
Runaway winner.
Yeah. 5's not doing too badly though.
Creeping.
Yeah. 5 is not doing too bad. Rightio. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our try before you buy. Oh, hang on. Could you recommend a red wine to go with white fish?
White fish? Depends on the sauce, that you're doing white fish with. If you're going to drink a red wine with white fish, you want it to be light Pinot Noir for sure. Cinsault maybe would be an alternative. Depends what the sauce is really. If you're going to do a white fish with a tomato-y sauce, then you'll be fine with like a Pinot Noir or something like that. If you're going to do it with like a lemony sauce or a creamy sauce, and there isn't really a red wine that will suit you, you're better off sticking with the white. So yeah, think about the sauce more than...
Rioja is my favourite. What white wine would convert me?
If you love Rioja, what wine would... Well, white Rioja.
Yeah, white Rioja again, because, like Sam said earlier in his incoherent ramblings, Rioja is all about the use of oak. So we've been over this before. Joven, no oak. Crianza, a bit of oak. Reserva, more oak. Grand Reserva, even more oak. So depending on the Riojas you like on that scale, it is all about oak. So if you like those kind of really woody red wines, try a White Rioja, and again, try the scale of aging to see what you fancy. Equally, try another white wine that's had a bit of lees aging. Maybe try something a bit different, because if you like something with a bit more going on to it, give it a go. A white wine that will convert you, have a little sample. Why not try one of the white kits from Smash Grapes tasting kit range and find your next favourite, or find something that convert you. Can we stay with 6 next time? I want to try a full body. Can we start with 6? I want to try a full-bodied red sober. We can't, unfortunately. The wine world is one of the only times where you have to move up the body with your mouth. If you start the night on a full-bodied red, and then you go down, as you drink something with less body, it's just going to taste like water. It's going to be really wishy-washy. You've got to move up the scale. So if you've got a couple of bottles of red or a couple of bottles of wine in the house and you think you're going to get through them, realistically, you do need to come up with a bit of an order, and it comes down to temperature. If you're not sure what's what, hottest to coldest, coldest to hottest. Sorry, because we can't start on the full-bodied. I'm afraid.
No.
Maybe we could do a big and bolshy kit. We could.
God help us.
God help us with that. But yeah, we could potentially look at something like that. Are we doing one? Yes, we've done that. Any more questions that are coming in? Can only vote for one. Of course you can on the poll. Yeah, wine of the night. There we go. Those are all the questions that have come in. So look, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Remember to make use of those £10 vouchers, please. We would love to see you back to grab another bottle. We'd also love to see you next month for our next Try Before You Buy. Oh, I've also left the poll on, so there might be people who just don't know how to navigate questions. So give you a couple of minutes to put your question. Someone says they love us.
Thanks, guys.
Spicy Red, good night.
Spicy Red, love you. I love you.
Love you, Spicy Red. So yeah,
tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Yeah, that's like the easiest thing you can do. Tell your friends, especially like if you're a wine drinker. Chances are you've gone out for dinner with someone, or you've been out on a night out where someone's like, "Oh, should we get a bottle of wine?" So you know someone who likes wine. Just give them a little word. Just tell them. Do you know what? Give the lads at Smash Grapes a look. And actually, if you want to earn yourself something for your troubles, you have a referral code that sits at the bottom of quite a lot of emails we send you. And if you don't know what your referral code is, get on the chat, send us an email. We'll give you your code. And if your friends use that, they'll get £20 off their first order, and you'll get a £20 voucher when they place their order as well.
They can join us next month for free, so they can spend their 20 quid on joining us for the July tasting for free, and you'll get 20 quid as well to go and spend on some wine. So
exactly.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
and you know, you like to think we've shared a bottle of wine together. We've had a couple of drinks. Anyway, if you're still here now, like a bottle of wine in, and nearly 2 hours later, you're probably thinking, these guys are all right. Help us out. Tell a friend. That's all it is. Is there a theme for the next one? Well, this theme kind of just happened, didn't it?
It just happened.
It did just happen.
We don't want to plan things.
We're not, and we're not exceptional planners. We are not. Was there a theme? Where are we? July. Still going to be summery vibes, isn't it?
We'll see.
We'll see. See what we think. Yeah. Themes are really all about our kits, which are available now. Tasting kits in the Smash Grapes website. Otherwise, I think that's it. I think we are done. Good evening. Thank you very much, Truffle Runner, Tracy and Kev, Anonymous, Spicy Red, Chris in the chat on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining, and we will see you next month on the next Try Before You Buy Smash Grapes. Tell your friends. Otherwise,
please do.
See you soon.
See you later, guys. Thanks very much.